Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakudash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, safety, much love, and blessing to the Akim across the four corners of the earth that are pushing out this truth and sincerity and putting their lives on the line to do so. I want to say Shalom to you, brothers. I'm the brother Arak out of GMS, Atlanta, back in the spirit with another lesson. And Lord, willing the lesson be edifying. I have Luke chapter 8 pulled up here, and I'm going to go into the parable of the sower. All right. And these parables are sometimes complex to those that don't have the oil, okay? Or, just babes, if you will, that may need, further explaining or further have it further broken down, or to put in plain English, if you will, because parables or parabolic sayings sometimes could go over, people's heads if, they're not learned or studied, up until the point where they can get the parable and it makes sense. So Lord willing, I can go over this parable and give some understanding. This is Luke 8, and I'll start at verse 4. And as you can see too, I have the screen split. On the left is the KJV, King James Version, and to the right is the BBE, which is Basic Bible English. Okay, so that's another tool that brothers just coming up or learning could use as well. You can translate or read these different translations in simplest term, and they'll give some clarification. So nevertheless, this is Luke. Let me do not disturb real quick. This is Luke 8 and 4. And when much people were gathered together and were come to him out of every city, he spake by a parable. This is Yahweh Shai. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the fowls of the air devoured it. Verse 6, and some fell upon a rock, and as soon as it was sprung up, it withered away, because it lacked moisture. Verse 7, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up with it and choked it. And other fell on good ground, and sprang up and bare fruit an hundredfold. And when he had said these things, he cried, he that have an ear to hear, let him hear. All right. Verse 9. And his disciples asked him, saying, what might this parable be? All right. So basically, hey, what's the point of the parable? They're asking Yahweh Shai. Verse 10. And he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of the Most High, but to others in parables, that seeing that they might not see, and hearing they might not understand. And that goes into what I was speaking about at the beginning of the lesson. Those that have the oil, those that are anointed by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, these parables and dark sayings make a lot more sense to us, but those that are unlearned and unskillful, that don't have the ear to hear, they may not understand. But the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven has always been given unto the prophets and the servants of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, even unto this day. There's no different. And then he goes on to explain the parable in verse 11 on down. It says, now the parable is this: the seed is the word of the Most High. Okay. So when he was talking about the seed falling on stony ground, or falling, what was it? Falling on stony ground, and falling amongst the thorns, so on and so forth. He was comparing that seed to the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Verse 12, those by the wayside are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. All right. And we see that constantly, being in the truth for a couple of years. You see not too many men in our camp here in Atlanta, but, throughout the ministry, they come and go. All right. The word resonates to a certain extent, but then there's something that comes along, such as the devil, and strip away that understanding or that belief or that faith, which the Lord allows that to happen, because the scriptures tell us that many are called, but few are, actually chosen. All right. Verse 12 again, it says, those by the wayside are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. And I'll read it in the BBE. It says, those by the side of the road are those who have given hearing. Then the evil one comes and takes away the word from their hearts, so that they may not have faith and get salvation. The word is stripped away from them, and, the scriptures tell us that those that are tasting of the good gifts of this word, roughly paraphrasing, and turn back, and those that put their hand to the plow, but turneth back, is not fit for the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 13, they on the rock are they which, when they hear, receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away. All right. And an example of that, are, men that hear the word, hear that they're Israelites and that the kingdom of heaven is for them, that they can have multiple wives, so on and so forth, that we're a holy, peculiar people, that the Lord is coming back to save his people. It brings them joy, when they hear those words, and it uplifts them, but that happens in the Christian church too. The pastor is nothing more than a motivational speaker. All right. So he's putting you on a high, but in his truth, this is the truth. And the words that the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai are pushing out are, straight from the scriptures, and it also gets you in a state of mind where you're excited, you're happy to know that you're an Israelite, so on and so forth. But then what after that? What else is, holding you rooted to the truth? What's holding you? What's your foundation, basically? What, after you're an Israelite, are you beginning to build and do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushai in order to, build the temple of David? Or are you just, taking the knowledge that you have and putting it in the napkin and not being productive with it? All right. And then it gets taken away. So verse 13 in the BBE, and those on the rock are those who with joy give hearing to the word, but having no root, they have faith for a time, and when the test comes, they give up. So start catching hell after you find out that you're an Israelite. The Lord begin to chasten you. You be tempted with an opportunity that may take you away from the truth, or have you come up on some bread, or whatever the case may be. The temptation, and then the hardships. How are you gonna stay down when those things start to happen? You have to be deeply rooted. You have to be fully persuaded in your own mind. All right. The good with the bad, the bitter with the sweet. You got to take both. All right. Ezekiel tell you that, you got to eat the whole roll. When he first ate it, it was sweet, and then it became bitter in his belly, man. All right. So that's just a part of the truth. Ain't no need to get butthurt and fall out about it, and give up on the mission that's at hand. Verse 14, and that which fell among the thorns are they which when they have heard go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life and bring no fruit to perfection. And that's what it goes along with what I was just saying. Same thing. BBE version, verse 14. And those which went among thorns are those who have given hearing and go their way, but they are overcome by cares and wealth and pleasures of life, and they give no fruit. All right. Verse 15. But that on the ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience. Verse 15 BBE. And those in the good earth are those who, having given ear to the word, keep it with a good and true heart, and in quiet strength give fruit. All right, so that's the seed that we want to be. The one that is flourishing and bearing fruit. All right, that has the proper sunlight and it has the proper moisture in the soil. That's where we want to be, and Lord willing, we can continue in the words of Yahweh Shemi Yahushai and continue to be in sample of, what to be. But yeah, man, that's just, some clarification on the parable of the sower. Lord willing, it was put in a simpler form to where those can understand that are unskillful in the word. I want to end it by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, Shalom.